In this video, we're going to deal with the misconception about online advertising and how some people that are aware of MLM and online advertising, they feel like it's dead, and there's a lot of reasons for that we can go into, Chris, as to why. But before we get into this, I just want to let you know, as far as listening to us on this, Chris and I both are certified AdWords professionals with Google, and with Ad Center, which is Microsoft's platform, we're also certified with that. So we actually know what we're talking about. We've actually been, vetted, if you will, by them on the whole knowledge base on this. So we actually, we're somebody that actually, if we wanted to, we could go into business consulting with people on those advertising platforms. So we know what we're talking about is the point.
Exactly. And, the other thing you want to keep in mind before we get into all the details of the online stuff, because you'll see that this is one of Jason's and my passion and areas we like to talk about, is before you jump into all the online stuff, ask a couple clarifying questions and make sure that there isn't the person's not asking it from a standpoint of that they don't want to talk to their friends and family, or that there's an objection layered underneath this, kind of geared towards what we talked about in the previous videos and not being a good salesperson or not wanting to talk to their friends and family. So ask a couple of clarifying questions before you do jump into the online stuff, because I'd say a good chunk of the time, that's what people are really asking by asking this question.
Well, yeah, because they're thinking like, well, if I could do it online, I'd definitely join and do MLM again. But since I know that it's dead from what I've heard, because I've been in MLM before and, I've done this, or somebody I knew couldn't do this anymore, I'm not willing to do MLM anymore. So definitely you're right. You got to deal with that.
And what Jason means by, online being dead, if you've been around MLM, you've either heard this or you soon will. It's the common word for is like the Google slap, SLAP, like, slap across the face. And what happened back in, I think it was 2009, the FTC came down on Google for all these different people advertising through Google's advertising platform, AdWords. And so Google was doing nothing illegal, but there was a lot of people advertising who are doing, kind of like some gray area businesses.
I think it was like, if you ever saw like Google Cash that kind of
Google Money Tree, and a lot of it was just get rich quick stuff, or like, oh, just sign up, you don't have to do anything, or win the free iPad or win the free iPhone, and then you're getting charged like 8 different things a month. And so most of that was not related to the network marketing industry. There were a few, some people in there were definitely network marketing, and there were some network marketing programs involved in that.
Affiliate. And a lot of times, business confuse affiliate with network marketing. They're two different things. To Google, they see us as the same. So that's why I think we were lumped in. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's
a good clarification. And so what happened is that, no one wants trouble from the FTC, which is the U.S. government Federal Trade Commission. You do not want them down your back, because they can
your life
ruin your business.
Yeah.
And so, Google, from our point of view, kind of overreacted and just said, okay, well, we just got to be careful. And they lumped in a lot of legitimate businesses and industry. And one was network marketing and MLM. And they lumped it in there and saying, well, you guys can no longer advertise, or they kind of said you're guilty until proven innocent when they wanted to advertise. And the reason so is because a lot of people's websites out there were the flashy, they got the Mercedes-Benz in the background with the big house,
the big boat, the
Gulfstream private airplane.
The same old lifestyle cheesy crap that we never did, but a lot of people in the industry did.
And so what happened? Google said, well, we can't really see what you're selling or what the business is behind there. You're just promising that, hey, you'll help that person make more money in a month than their boss does an entire year.
Yeah.
Those ridiculous claims. And so at first, we were ticked off and said, well, man, what the heck? Screw this. And a lot of people in the industry were. Well, after a little while, as we started, looking at things and getting things figured out, we said, this is actually really good because it cleaned out the riffraff. And then for the people who know how to advertise properly and the people doing legitimate businesses, which most network marketing companies are, but I say legitimate is like teaching people the right way and not just sponsoring people and churning and burning and throwing them on the wall. It's actually a blessing, I would say, from our standpoint, because we're probably one of the probably less than a half a dozen, if even that many.
I wouldn't even say it. Like, I mean, really, like, I guess what Chris is saying is it's a good thing if you're somebody like us that knows how to do it and knows that Google's looking for certain things. And if you're not doing those certain things and you're doing things the old style way, which is just throwing up some landing page with some, cheesy, like, get rich quick crap, it's not going to fly with them. And typically, as far as the numbers, I don't know how many people are really successfully doing this right now. Most of them are probably in our downline or a part of our own marketing system in our company because they work with us. But the reason why I know this is, I'll just say it right now. My upline actually went to another company months back, probably about a year ago, actually. Just being frank with you, this happens in the industry. So anyways, I saw him advertising with this website for weeks. And let me tell you something. He did not do the advertising himself. He always went through me on doing online advertising because I was really the expert. Not to say that he couldn't learn it. He just never did. So he's out there advertising this website in this other company. Well, all I know is I can't say for sure. It was up there for about 3 months and I haven't seen it again, which probably means he got the Google slap, as you called it. And just to be clear, Chris, what that is if you've ever used Google before and you've gotten an email that says something like your account has been permanently suspended, you have so many days to correct the problem, but they're really vague. You don't even know what they mean by that. A lot of times they'll say, your site isn't transparent. It's a mirrored site. It has all kinds of rules, but no one really knows what that is unless you're somebody that knows what Google's rules are and what they're looking for. We know what transparency is, and we don't need to get into that right now. But the point is, it's not dead. If you know what you're doing, you know how to advertise, you can still advertise online for network marketing, either product or business. Of course, within the rules of your compliance rules of your company. That's always a good thing to mention because they have their rules too. Some companies don't even allow you to advertise online, but most progressive companies do, and they have the rules that you need to follow.
And I imagine some people out there watching this video saying, okay, okay, that's just Google. What about, all the other websites, Microsoft Ad Center, Facebook, Twitter, and there's this and that. And you're right. There's other advertising platforms out there. Google is the largest and kind of like a tip of the spear. They still set the trends for what other companies model. And, Google is the gold standard basically, so people follow it both on the advertiser side and other advertising companies. And the reason we look to them and hold ourselves to the kind of Google standard is because other companies are following suit. We said this over a year or two ago. People said, well, why do we have to do all this? Because we're going to advertise on Microsoft or Facebook. We said, just go and do it because it's only a matter of time before these other companies start following suit, either because they need to have better quality advertising for their users, or they don't want to get in trouble by the FTC or any class action lawsuits. And guess what? Through some people that we know who just work as Google AdWords specialists, they're not network marketing, but they're now Rolodex, as we talked about earlier. Yeah. They specialize in that. And he told us, well, he goes, hey, because I'm about to get a lot more clients from Microsoft Ad Center and Facebook because they're chomping down. And from some of the blogs I follow, I've seen a lot of people starting to complain about it and say, oh, well, now they're bad like that.
It's not fair.
And so our point here is, has the game changed? Yes, it has. It's no longer the wild, wild west, as we like to call it, as it was years ago, where you could throw up anything and get some great results and great leads for very little money and very little education. It will take a little bit more time and knowledge and effort on your part to successfully market online. But when you do figure that out, you will reap so many more benefits because 99% of people can't do it because they don't know how to, or they're doing that cheesy nonsense you were talking about. And so when this comes up, what's the best way you describe this to, like, say, this usually comes up for the online standpoint for someone who's currently in an MLM company, but they're not happy with, and they're kind of looking for a new opportunity or new business, or someone who's been in MLM recently in the last, 5 or 8 years. What do you say about this? And actually, I'll throw in one more thing. Also, when calling generic purchase work from home leads come up as well, because that's something we need to address in here as well.
Yeah, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on that, but we'll address that real briefly. There's not a lot to say. What I normally say to people is, well, you got to know what you're doing, and you got to work with somebody who knows Google and who has actually been successfully doing. Now, I'll be honest with you, that sounds very self-serving because you and I, are one of those people. But I'm sure as time wears on, there's going to be other leaders in MLM that figure out how to do it the right way. And there are some, you can always call Google and ask for a referral to an AdWords professional. You don't have to hire them, interview them, see if they're worth spending money on to have an understanding of what you need to do to have an accurate site. The only thing I'll say is it's very rare to have somebody that's an AdWords professional who also understands our industry. Network marketing is kind of a different thing. So I think there'll be more of that as time wears on. I know of a few consultants that are out there. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to kind of figure it out. But just know it's not dead. And you're going to have to try to find a leader that knows this stuff. And that's really what it comes down to. You need to search around and find somebody who does it. And if you're having to answer this question, you're going to have to figure it out on your own, because if you have some prospects or contacts bringing this up with you, you'll need to deal with that. Now, as far as the lead vendors, we dealt with leads a long time ago. We've done a lot of our own lead generation. The reason why we've done our lead generation is because lead companies are just terrible. And what I would say about leads, I don't know what you want to say on it, but I'll just say stay away from them. Just don't do them, because they're just terrible now. They used to be decent years ago, but really there's only 2 or 3 major wholesalers that do it. And I'm not going to mention their names, but if you do any research, you can figure out who the big lead vendors are. I just wouldn't even do them. I'd stay away from it.
And the reason I want to bring that up is because you will have some people say, I did try to build my MLM business online in the past, and they called these generic, we purchase leads from, company XYZ. Like Jason said, there's only a couple players, and all the other ones out there are just resellers or affiliates of those couple of big players. And so you can't answer it with, we get our leads from this lead company, because you're going to be, in the same situation, and that person's not going to stick around long term in your business. And so you need to, address that, because we get that question all the time, or not all the time. We have people saying, I used to do it like this, and we show people what we do and the resources we have, and they're just like, holy smokes, yeah, I want to do that. I'm willing to do it. Because those are good people. I love talking to those people because they are willing to spend money on a monthly basis to market their business. They are willing to commit to, at least a few nights a week or a few mornings a week, calling people and following up. That is really one of the best people you can ask for in your business, because they already understand network marketing. They're hungry for it. They're willing to make the time and money investment. And so you need to show them what you're doing is different from what they did, or how you can actually do it. So a lot of times you can describe some of it, and the best way we do is just simply show them your website,
right,
show them your marketing system, or, I know most people don't have the qualifications we do, but tell people about the system or the upline or the marketing group you're working with, because a lot of times that will impress people, and you can use their story or our story to help show how this is different from what they did previously.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally true. Just don't do those leads, and be aware that when people say, oh, I build my business online, you need to make very clear that you know what they mean, and understand that, because we all run into people in the industry all the time that make these claims. You need to be aware of what your counterparts are doing, and understand being aware of that's going to tell you what your contact's thinking. Because when you say to them, oh, online is not dead, and you talk about some of these things, if you fail to mention, leads are not what you're doing, they're going to think that's what you're doing. And if they've done that before, they're like, whatever. Online is still dead. I don't care what you say. And instead of not listening to what you're saying, they think you're a liar.
And the reason Jason's emphasizing that point is because I've even had this happen to me a few times. I think we've gotten so far advanced than a lot of other people in terms of our knowledge and marketing. We won't even think about leads anymore. And I've made this mistake because I didn't ask enough clarifying questions. I just wanted to jump into this. that I didn't fully communicate what I know, what we're doing, and that, hey, we're like 5 steps ahead of, getting purchase leads. And once people saw us, they were just blown away with the resources and knowledge that we have.
Yeah, well, because, the grass is actually greener on this side, doing it this way. If you're somebody doing lead companies, the grass is greener when you're building your business by generating your own leads.
And so my last thing I'll say for this video is the generating leads online is not dead. In fact, it's actually growing. And you don't have to be an economist or read a bunch of business magazines to realize the internet's getting bigger and bigger every year and getting more involved in our lives. Everything from the smartphones we carry to the social media and the way things are evolving. So it's actually a growing trend. And if you want to build your business and build it big and build it long term, I would really recommend you start taking the time to learn some online marketing techniques and tactics so you can show people what you're doing, or at least learn what someone in your upline or marketing organization is doing, because you need to learn this and it'll help grow your business. And again, like we always talk about, in the big picture, you can use those same skills you learned for internet marketing in other things that you do, whether it's another business you already have or something you start down the road.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, that's what we've done. We know so much more than most marketing agencies, ad agencies, because we feel building the MLM business, is a lot harder to build without knowing what we know and the training you're getting here than what ad agencies do on, like, say, a law firm or things like that. So anyways, that's all I have.
Yeah, that's all I have. So we threw a lot of information at you at this video. So you may want to go back and rewatch it and just start doing something in the online marketing world. Work with your upline, talk with us, or get plugged into whatever resource you have available and start doing something, because I promise you it will lead to bigger and better things down the road.
Agreed.